And he started putting that 4 yogas. Yoga is work, worship, psychic control and philosophy. Which our tradition says, karma yoga, work, bhakti yoga, worship, raja yoga, meditation, psychic control and philosophy, gnana yoga. This is total personality development, which Vivekananda wanted. He started implementing. So what did Vivekananda want? First, good health. Energy, strength, no weakness, no laziness, no tiredness. Again and again you should not go to the doctor. No medical leaves should be used. Because that can be converted into money for you end of 6 months. So why should you take unnecessary medical leave? When you are strong, not necessary. So he started a gymnasium in the factory. So that all the workers will be healthy. 200 of them. And it came to such a level, such enthusiasm amongst the workers. 5 of those workers became Karnataka bodybuilding champions. And others started getting inspiration. So their health point is taken care of. Now what about their mind? Emotional problems, house problems, restlessness, arrogance, etc. Meditation, little concentration, little prayer. So he built a Dhyana Mandir in the factory. A huge portrait of sunrise and stars and Vivekananda sitting in between and ambient, little music, and everybody can meditate because it is not just a religious action, it is a meditation. So the Christians are there, Muslims are there, Hindus, all people are there in the factory, workers. So everybody comes at 8:30, puts a flower or just sits, meditates, music is there, little Omkaram is there, chairman to the watchman, all are meditating, half an hour. Then music is switched on, silently, without a talk, all go to work. So Raja Yoga is taken care of. So whole mind is on the balanced and pure and that relationship has developed, all are same. So they go and silently work. How do they work? Selfless work, perfect work, because mind is clean. And there is no OT there, there is no other conflicts there, there is no lockouts there, there is no other misunderstandings there, because all are doing karma yoga, work as worship. I interviewed 2 or 3 workers, they said till the last drop of my body, breath, I will not leave this place, because I am getting so much joy. Karma yoga karo, kama karo, karma karo. So meditation is taken care of, karma yoga is taken care of, worship is there, little bhakti. So how to do this into action? Meditation, etc., etc. And updating the knowledge. Workers don't have regular engineering, they are not engineering graduates. So he has a library, he has a video shows, guest lectures are arranged by technicians, so that knowledge is updated. So believe me, this started in 1999. His implementation of Indian yoga in the factory, not in the ashram. And today you go to Belgaum station and ask the auto driver, take me to Polyhydron Industries, nobody knows it. But you ask him, take me to business ashrama, every driver will take you. Today's factory is called business ashram in entire Belgaum, entire North Karnataka. It's a pilgrimage center. All the engineering college students of VIT, that means Vishweshwara Institute of Technology and MBA there, they have to compulsorily do 3 months project there. That is the power that he is generating. In 1999, this is 2011. In these 10.5 years, believe me or not, his profits have increased 40% annual. 40% turnover every year. Last year, Mr. Hundre directly told me, Swamiji, I paid 8 crores income tax. And his people said, some fellows will be there. Why don't you adjust karo? He said, no, this money belongs to the nation. It has to go. The government has given this rule, this is my profit, this is the tax, let it go. I have to pay. He is a role model today. And the administrative block, you'll be amazed to know, it is not just for accounts, it is not just for some decisions. It is called Temple of Ethics. Administrative block is called Temple of Ethics and the manufacturing unit is called Business Ashram. Such a beautiful place, full of garden, full of ambience, Dhyana Mandir and all other things, so fantastic. 200 workers. And he is not the owner, he is only a trustee. He doesn't own a telephone, he doesn't own a car, everything belongs to the factory. And if he has to go on his personal work, he takes the auto and goes, not the factory vehicle. He's doing it, he's proving it. It is not utopian, it is not some heavenly statement. You see how transformation can come if you start working over it, not just appreciating it. Please don't appreciate, try to apply. Please don't applaud, try to accept with thinking. So it is possible for each one of you to make a difference. And let us start a little bit of meditation. Just 10 minutes, 15 minutes, I will just give you idea. Because meditation, according to the great Patanjali Maharshi, is the 7th step in the yoga ladder. 7th. So you have to climb 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 before you really meditate. Really. Otherwise, at the most, let us be honest to say, I am concentrating better than others. High degree of concentration. What is the difference between man and man? Concentration. Between animal and man? Concentration. Between Dr. Kalam and you? Concentration. So try to concentrate, gather your thoughts which are scattered in hundreds and hundreds of directions and focus it on one point. Gather the thoughts. How to gather the thoughts? How can you understand this technical statement? In your own words, I'll give you. Say you go to the market and purchase 100 grams of mustard seeds. Aval. You purchase them in a paper packet and you give to your mother or the cook or somebody who is busy in the kitchen, and before giving, imagine it falls down. But that packet has fallen down. It is scattered. Now the example is every mustard seed is a thought. It has scattered. It has gone in hundreds and hundreds of directions. What will you do? Will you just throw it away? Will you just wipe it off, sweep it off? No. You will gather it. Am I right? You gather it, put it into a vessel, and then wash it and use it for rasam, upma, this and that. So one seed which has gone somewhere, you gather by carefully. Then you are safe. Your mind is safe. So imagine my mind today is scattered in thousands and thousands of directions, attractions and distractions. Gather. Carefully gather. Don't worry. Understand first what is your mind before you understand others. Today it's the other way around. How will you expect other people to understand you if you don't understand yourself? So what is your mind you don't know, but we have information about all the minds in the world. That means your mind is a slave. You don't know about your personality. You don't know about the values. You see? So the strength inside your mind you are not aware, but we are worried about other people who are not worried about you. So first take charge of your mind, because that is where you have to live day in and day out. So observe the mind. That is the first step. Watch the thoughts. Some good, some bad, useful, useless, positive, negative, constructive, destructive. So many thoughts are there. Morning you are okay, evening you are depressed. Evening you are okay, night you no sleep. Always confusion, waves after waves, like a tsunami. It is hitting you. So understand what is the problem. Why am I not able to concentrate? Why that lustful thoughts? Why that negative thoughts? Why that egoistic thoughts? Why that so unwanted thoughts? Sometimes when I talk or when the people tell me their experiences, what kind of thoughts, they themselves say, Swamiji, my mind is like GHMC dustbin. So much hodgepodge, so much, bad smell. First clean it. First understand that there is dust inside. Then you see, clean the mind, wash the mind, purify the mind. Then you find automatically excellent thoughts coming, because you are alert. Don't allow this mind for one day leave also. If you take one day leave, this fellow will take 10 days casual leave. And to bring it back another 10 days. How many days you lost? 3 weeks of your life is wasted. Wasted in tug of war. The mind also is powerful and you also want to bring it back. 21 days of your precious life is wasted. So try to avoid that unnecessary wastage and be little more conservative, as you heard the IAS officer tell you. A little more conservative, a little more holding on to your thoughts. Don't be spendthrift. Expenditure is more than income. That is why you get tired. You get disturbed very easily. So observe at least 3 minutes, 4 minutes, what the mind is. Close your eyes, cut off your, just detach, just withdraw. Go into your heart, go to yourself. Just watch, what are the thoughts? Then after doing it 3-4 minutes, then concentrate on your breathing. Most of you don't breathe properly. We take it for granted. Huh? So, ill health and distractions and restlessness, and because some of you may be breathing in more, breathing out less. Naturally, there is restlessness. Some of you breathing less, breathing out more. So then what happens? In the classroom, you sleep with eyes opened. And teachers are so excited, what wonderful students I have got who don't close their eyes also. But you know what you are doing. Why? No oxygen supply to the brain. You are spending away more than what you are drawing inside. That's why in sport, in this and that, they are concentrating on the prana shakti, the cosmic energy, the vitality to develop, to maintain a balance, so that you can do more work efficiently. Hard, what game they are playing in the hot sun. Huh? Whether it is football, hockey, table tennis, shuttle, quickly they have to finish. One mistake, they may lose the whole match. Because the opponent will be hitting at that mistake. So they have to maintain that concentration. How? Breathing. One of these steps. So breathe in and breathe out equally. That is the mantra. So 6 seconds, 7 seconds. Can you breathe in continuously? That itself is a struggle. Because your lung capacity, you have not exercised your windpipe or lungs. 3 seconds, 4 seconds, you feel tired. So see the watch and try to breathe in for 6 seconds without a break. 6 seconds exhale, 6 seconds inhale, approximately 6 times. 6 into 6 into 6. It's a very beautiful, very happy experience. Then 25% of your mind will be controlled. Then after this, the third step is convert this vibrations, this energy, into Nada Brahma, sound vibrations, into the Omkara. Om Itidagam Sarvam. Om is everything. Om is the Saptaswaras. Om is Saraswati. Om is everything. Om is creation. Om is the rising of the sun. Ah. U is middle of the day. Ma is end of the day. Sunrise, sunset and midday. Ah, U, Ma. Rising of the waves in the ocean is Ah. The waves rolling, dashing against the shore is U. Shabda comes there. Tap. It hits the shore and goes back silently. Ma. It merges back from where it has come. What a wonderful experience. It gives you strength. It gives you concentration. It makes your decisions very clear, because there is so much of what you call refining, polishing. That is also very, very important. All can do it. All should do it. All must do it. Pranavo dhanuhu. Pranava is like a bow. Sharohi Atma. Yourself is the arrow. And what is the goal? Highest goal, like Mount Everest. Brahmatal Lakshya Muchyate. The divine is the goal. And when you shoot the arrow, leave the arrow. Apramatta. The word is very, very important. Pramatta, apramatta. Apramatta means without disturbance. Apramatta. Full attention. Body, mind. Body, mind. Pramatta, disturbed. Restless fellow. Apramatta, straight. Body is straight. Mind is straight. Your eyesight is straight. Emotions are straight. Apramattena vettavyam. 50-meter goal, 100-meter goal, archery. See the red mark, see the bullseye. Shoot. Apramattena vettavyam. What happened? Shara, the arrow, tanmayo bhavet. It becomes one with that. Where else can it go? Because you have concentrated. You have pulled the strings correctly. Not too less, not too loose. Correctly. Do it. But it comes through practice. May not come today, may not come tomorrow. Depends on how much of intensity of purpose you have. Then after this it comes universal prayer. Very, 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 very important. Selfless prayer. Most of us avoid this. Because most of our prayers are, give me this, give me that. A big endless list. Go on asking, go on asking. Do you deserve it before you desire? Is your bhakti becoming Shakti? Holy Mother Sharda Devi used to ask. Your bhakti should become Shakti. All the saints were full of Shakti power. Okay? Bhakti should be converted into a Shakti. That is universal prayer. Pray. Pray for the good of others. Think of the good of others. At least, if not doing, at least think. Your thoughts will travel. Even if you live in a cave, it will touch somebody's heart, suffering people's heart, it will touch. They may be ignited. Who knows? You are doing great service to the country. So think of the good of others. Mind expands. That kunchita buddhi, that contracted mind will reduce. Expansion is life, contraction is death. All the great sages of Indian value culture were expansive. They have thought only of others. Sarve bhavantu sukhinaha, sarve sarvatra. Everyone, everywhere. Let them be happy. They did not restrict their prayer only to their fulfillment. Vivekananda meditated on India for the others, not on just his moksham. That will come. But at least think. All our prayers are hodgepodge prayers. Weak prayer, goody-goody prayer. It's not even good prayer, goody-goody prayer. Like what one fellow was praying. Great bhakta. Oh God, bless me with a son. All right, that is part of the Vedic prayer is there. Putra Kameshti Yagnam is there. Dasharatha Maharaja did that. All right. Why don't you stop there, my friend? His prayer extended. Bless my neighbor with a daughter. Why? Why this prayer? Why not a daughter for you? Because you will get good dowry. Selfishness enters there also. How mind cheats you? Goody goody bhakti. And somebody prayed, I want to go to heaven. Very good. No visa, no passport, no American council rejection. Only thing that you have to do, they said, pray. What you pray? Go to Haridwar, catch the tail of a cow, pay 10 rupees to the priest, you will go to heaven. Whole nation went down in this prayer, Vivekananda says. Our religion has become cooking pot religion. Where is the Shakti? Which the great yogis or the masters practiced? So go back to the traditions, go back to the roots and pray with that Shakti, with that faith, with that conviction. Then you see the magic. Pray. So that is also part of meditation. Pray for the good of everybody. Where you are also included. You are not exclusive. You are inclusive there. And when you do all these 4 or 5 regularly for 2-3 months, mind will be prepared. It is like plowing the field, removing the weeds, removing the stones, removing the hard soil before putting the seed. Then slowly mind will cooperate with you. Then it will go into meditation naturally. You need not worry about it. Naturally mind will be concentrated because you have done lot of practicals, lot of basics. Your basics are good. Okay? So meditation, it's in the heart center. Heart does not mean the physical anatomical heart. There is a spiritual heart, there is an emotional heart, 6 inches above the navel, 6 inches below the throat. That is the experiential center. There you have to concentrate. That is what our yogis have found out. Today medical science also has found out. In Bangalore, experiments were done in Nimhans. In France, experiments were done. In America, experiments are going on. Where is that emotion where a man really feels? Then they have found the location also from an objective point of view. But this is a subjective experience. My experience is mine. Your experience is yours. But we can share in the form of words. So that is where we have to concentrate. And normally all the people, majority of the people who don't practice, who just lead a very ordinary life and just a busy life, heart is considered like a lotus. Okay? The Guru tells, meditate on the heart of the lotus. Hridaya Kamala Madhye. Meditate on the heart. Like a lotus. Imagine a lotus. But lotus should be blossoming upwards, is it not? But majority of the people's lotus will be downwards. Because energy is going down. Only eating, sleeping, entertainment, eating, sleeping, entertainment, expenditure more. So in meditation what happens? Gradually lotus turns upward. That is the real experience, real change. Your lotus should be looking upwards. It should come above the water. Be blossomed, then you find wonderful experience at a little higher stage. But as students, as working people, follow the first 4 or 5 steps regularly, sincerely, and wholeheartedly. You should have 3 things for meditation. Confidence that I can control my body, I can control my mind, I can sit for 10-15 minutes. Confidence. Then you think of enthusiasm. Enthusiasm is important. Don't sit like a boring this one. Be joyful. You have that bubbling joy inside you to meditate. Third is sincerity. Don't cheat yourself. Because meditation for some people is an invitation to sleep. 3 minutes is enough. They say, what a wonderful meditation I had. Then he'll be doing gymnastics. Body will go this way, body will go that way, left, right. What wonderful meditation. Because one who meditates also will say, oh, I am so happy. One who sleeps also will tell, oh, today I slept well, I am very happy. Because both are hairline differences there. But what will happen if you meditate properly, sincerely? Vivekananda tells humorously, if a fool enters into meditation, he will come out as a sage. But unfortunately, fools don't meditate. But in sleep, a fool remains a fool, a saint remains a saint. That is only physical rest. Mind will be continuously dreaming and working, etc. But in one who is meditating, he will quickly go to deep sleep. Because his mind is free. Why should he worry about other daydreams or wonderful unwanted dreams? Straightly he will go into deep sleep. And he will enjoy his sleep, come back, it will be 2 hours, he will sleep like so deep sleep. And comes out 22 hours he works. Gandhiji worked 22 hours. No tiredness for India. Vivekananda worked 24 hours, 6 months without rest. Because for him everything was rest. He had the mind control. Holy Mother Sharda Devi, getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning and taking Ganga bath and meditating up to 6 o'clock and then cooking and then taking care of Sri Ramakrishna, taking care of the disciples. What work she did not do. What purity she manifested. She says, at that time, so difficult, no facilities, but still she followed all the routine. When we have so much facilities, why can't we do at least a little of that? So link yourself back to that great masters, great leaders, and get that inspiration to do something a little. You may not be able to meditate all the time and give devoted whole life. It's not possible, it is not your choice. You may not choose it. If you can, that's a different issue. But as working people, as students, try to do the minimum which should be done. Dharma. There is a national dharma. So first try to sit properly. One of the basic thing is asanam, body language. Some people I see, girls or boys also, if their age is 17, they sit like 71. And as the age progresses, 18 means 81. 2 minutes they cannot sit properly. And you boast of big achievements. Body is controlling you, you are not controlling the body. So how can you do anything good to the society or to anything? So be a master of your body. Sharira madhyam kalu dharma sadhana. Body is the primary means of practicing dharma, but don't abuse the body, don't misuse the body. Make it fit for hard work, energetic, strong, healthy. So that kind of physical fitness you have to acquire. Then our second step is observation. And when you sit, whether at home or somewhere, don't simply sit like a stone. Give a thought to your body. My legs are strong, my hand is strong, my back is strong. Be like an athlete. Think that health is, energy is rising in your body. Vivekananda was so particular, he wanted to have an institution where the women are taught martial arts. That physical valor is important. For him, his role model, his ideal was Rani Jhansi. That young heroic lady, how she fought, tying her baby on her back against the might of the British. At that young age of 18, 19, 20. So it is not aggressive goodness there, but as she pointed out, assertive goodness. It is not good people that we want in India today, it is strong people that we want. So that comes through deep thinking and concentration. So many books are there, many ways are there. We conduct regular classes here, and other times also for youth programs we conduct this particular segment for higher concentration. All of you may be concentrating, but why don't you improve it? Most of you might be knowing driving. Are you not concentrating? Suppose it's car driving. You'll be operating the clutch, brake, accelerator with your legs, gear with your hand, steering on the hand, left hand, right hand. But where are your eyes? On the road. You don't put first gear and see back. Or you don't assume that I am pressing the brake and press the accelerator. There you are getting training. Who is there to teach you about mental control? Their vehicle control you are taught, not mind control. So every school or college should have had this long back. But very few have it, some institutions have it. But it has not become a national practice. It has become some individual management interest. But why not on a national scale? So that as early as possible we have to adopt. So I will be giving instructions for 10 minutes practice here. Then we'll go to the next part of the program. In between little music will be kept. Don't sleep off. Be conscious. If you at all find sleep, please open your eyes and sit. Be honest to yourself. Okay? Otherwise I will tell the volunteers, hold a stick. Which is better, you decide. They will just pat you, they won't beat you. Because in Japan, there are certain schools where Buddhism also is taught, meditation is taught. Before they are sent to the academic classes, they are made to sit in a beautiful hall like this or smaller rooms, boys and girls. They are taught two things for 1 month. How to sit, how to think. That is why Japan, electronics means Japan. Closing your eyes, you will buy Japanese product. You don't buy an Indian product. Why not? Why that lazy? Why that slavery here? Why that? Because they are meditating. Sony chairman meditates. Sony worker meditates. Sony watchman meditates. Because the mind is sharp. Correct electronic. Perfect. What a mark of excellence. You see? So they say, suppose their students are sitting like this, they are taken in the center, one PT master, who is taller than the Japanese, other Japanese. They are selected. Tall man, but strong man, he'll be going with a rubber stick. He'll be walking. And students are given a puzzle. They are called koans, puzzles. And the students are not supposed to answer the question, they have to think about the answer. They say, don't answer. Answer means you are quickly saying, yes or no, judgment will come. Don't tell the answer, think about the answer. Question they put, and peculiar questions, it looks foolish for us. Suppose they ask, when we bring the two hands together quickly, we call it a clap. There is a particular sound. Is there a sound in one hand? Don't answer. They are asked like that, children. So they have to go on thinking. And they have to sit. And in the sitting time, little music, something is put, and the PT master will be observing. If that particular student bends his body or moves a little, a pat on the back with the rubber stick. It won't hurt, but will give a shock. They know how to beat also. Here, go on beating. No, there's a method of beating also. They have a rubber stick. It gives a shock, jerk, and again the student sits. And they have to pass the test also before they are taught mathematics. And 50% of the teacher's problem is solved. Hey, sit properly. Hey, listen properly. Hey, don't see there. They're already sitting. Concentrate on the lesson now. You see how quickly they mastered after 1944. Before also they had, but they learned a lesson of aggression. They went too much, tried to attack America and others. They got a nice beating. But it was a very harmful, painful beating. Even now they suffer. But they quickly adopted to the science of the mind. And today they are electronic masters. So let us do something of that, because I am telling you a little of that, because Bhagavan Sri Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita said, what I have taught you, O Arjuna, please practice a little, he said. He gave maximum discount. He said, Swalpam apyasya dharmasya. A little of this dharma will give you lot of benefit, my Arjuna. Krishna knows modern problems. We are running after discount. Sri Ramakrishna also gives discount. He said, I have done 16 annas of sadhana, you do 1 anna. That itself is difficult for us. Let us push our mind. After all, we have got time to give something to some higher values. So let us meditate now with this basic thought: confidence, enthusiasm, sincerity. So may I request you to sit straight. Don't lean on the back. Little front from your chair also is better. Feet flat on the ground. Don't cross leg. Don't put it back. The energy should flow equally in every part of your body, from the head till the toe. So back straight and sit comfortably. Don't sit tight. Relax but straight. Happy but firm. Head straight and close your eyes. Just keep listening to me. Meditation is more of listening and mental control, mind control.